Hey guys, welcome to today's Big Brother 22 updates and spoilers. Woo! How y'all doing today? It's Monday. I know that's a bummer, but at least we have Big Brother to talk about, right? Mondays are fun. We usually have the power veto ceremony, lots of drama, and I mean it, guys. Like this spoiler is going to be action-packed, so I hope you're ready. I hope you have a snack. I have to pee, but let's see if we can make it through. Okay, so our house guests of the day. I realized I should probably start doubling up so that I don't have to do like 20 in a day towards the end of the season, because I want all of you to have your chance to like shine more, right? So our house guests of the day are Christina Dune and Robin S. Yesme. Thank you so much for the support, ladies. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so much. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Hey guys. Also, I want to thank yesterday's super chatters, because we also could not do this without you. So we've got Yasser Bakir, Veronica W, Haley Milne, Brant Phillips, and Jen T. Thank you all so much. Oh, Logan, thank you. I'll have to shout you out at the end. Yeah, all of you guys, if you decide to super chat, which we appreciate so much, I'm going to shout you all out at the end. So make sure you stick around. Okay. So let's get started. When we left off yesterday, Memphis won the power veto, and he wants to leave the nominations the same. He's pretty happy that he won, because his goal this week was to leave the nominations the same. And most people are not happy about this. You've got Janelle and Kaysar, who were trying to get Nicole F up and out. You've got Memphis's alliance, who all wanted Janelle up and out. And now it seems like none of that is going to happen, probably. Okay, so anyway, Janelle and Kaysar started off their morning yesterday with some game talk. And Kaysar was like, okay, I've been talking to Day and Christmas. I still need more time to lock them down. Because just a reminder, Janelle and Kaysar are trying to pull an alliance together here with Day, Christmas, Bayleigh, Nicole. They don't realize that Christmas is already aligned with Memphis's crew. They don't even realize that Memphis is with that other group. It's such a bummer. Like, they're pretty confident now that Nicole F, Tyler, Cody, and Dani, the four of them, are working together, but they're missing two important people, Christmas and Memphis, who they keep trying to align with, and they're like, like, when is that going to be a sign that this is not going to work? They're aligned with other people. So Kaysar says that Day still is not believing that Dani is working with the other side, meaning like Nicole F, Tyler, and Cody. Yeah. So I don't know what it is, but Day is just so trusting of Dani. I don't get it. But Janelle and Kaysar both say they feel really good about Bayleigh. They trust her the most out of that group. And then they start talking about Dani. They know that she's double dealing. And Janelle says Dani and Nicole F are super close outside of the house. She even has this like behind the scenes story from the Amazing Race. Before that season started that Janelle and Nicole F were both on, Dani got in touch with Janelle and said, okay, I'm really good friends with Nicole F, and she told me that she is scared of you and like doesn't like you and all this stuff. And that's how Janelle found out that Nicole F was going to be on that season. So yeah, there's a lot of connections in the Big Brother world outside of the house. But anyway, Janelle says that she would not put Dani up and she would not vote her out. That's just a deal that she has with Dani on a personal level outside of this game, which is so like depressing to hear. Like, I'm glad that they're friends in real life or whatever, but Dani is not sticking with that deal. She is scheming against you hardcore. So then Janelle says that Nicole F is the problem and she wants to take her out. Okay, so then Kaysar says, keep in mind, our job this week is to make sure we save you, Nicole. Good luck, because it is a steep hill to make that happen. Okay, so then David checks in with Memphis in the HOH room, and David is like, you know what? You really agitated me before the competition when you told me to come to play, but it just wasn't enough for me to pull out a win. And this POV competition sounds like a bunch of bullcrap because apparently it took like a lot of arm strength and they didn't even adjust the weight. You know how like in a lot of competitions they'll adjust like the height or the weight of something so that it's fair for like people of all sizes and genders and everything. So they didn't do that this time. So it was like impossible basically for a woman to win this competition, which just sucks. But anyway, Memphis says to David, don't count yourself out. I'm not targeting you. I'm not targeting you, Nicole. It's up to the house to decide. And he's like, I'm not telling anyone how to vote. I want to keep the blood off my hands. Of course you do, Memphis. So he tells David, from what I've heard, you've got a great shot to stay this week, which at this point he does. So then Memphis offers David some advice. Excuse me. He says, you got to do what's best for you in this game. And he admits that a lot of people have come to him this week trying to get him to like backdoor somebody, but he's not trying to do that this early in the game. He says it's week 2. It's too early for that. Will Memphis be selling t-shirts after the season that say it's week 2? How many times has he said that this week? Oh my God. So then moving on, Ian was continuing on with his punishment yesterday and today. He's acting out all of his scenes, sometimes with friends, sometimes alone. And I feel so bad for him because some people are like starting to be jerks about it. Like I know Dani especially is like, this is a punishment for us too. Oh, I hate it. So now Ian is starting to feel like self-conscious and like I feel bad that everybody else is getting punished too. That sucks. So anyway, Day and Bayleigh have a game chat. We got a lot of really good information here. So they started out in the bathroom area and then they ended up moving to the sky bridge for more privacy. So Bayleigh says she's feeling weird about Cody because he made this comment to her like, I've seen you hang out with Janelle so much lately. Or like, I've never seen you hang out with Janelle so much. Like when he was HOH last week, she wasn't spending all that time with Janelle. So like, what's going on now? And Bayleigh was like, I'm supposed to be doing that. Because remember when they set up their 4-person alliance, Bayleigh, Day, Cody, and Enzo, they were all like, each one of us is going to get close to one other person, but that person's not going to be part of the alliance. So it was basically like a brigade situation, which is funny since Enzo's in that alliance. So yeah, Cody is just pissed that Bayleigh and Day haven't been bringing him information. And now they're playing pretty much the same way he is, but they're not allowed to do that. And he is, obviously. So anyway, Day says that she wants Dani to tell her about this 3 that she's been hearing about. I'm assuming she's talking about the whole Nicole F, Tyler, and Cody thing and Dani thing that's been floating around the house. So she wants Dani to tell her if that's legit or not. So we will get there. But also, Day says that she plans on telling Kaysar she doesn't want to commit to any sort of alliance until after the power veto ceremony because they got to see what happens there. She wants to know what Memphis is doing with that POV. There is a rumor going around, pretty much started by Janelle, that Nicole F could be backdoored this week, which is not going to happen, but it's wishful thinking on Janelle's part. So Day's not really sure what they should do if Nicole F goes up on the block because they're trying to kind of work together. They're mending fences, but also Day knows that Cody is really close to Nicole F, but he hasn't told them straight up, like, I'm working with her. So she's not really sure what they would be doing in that situation, but they're not going to have to worry about that this week. So then David joins them and they're all thinking like Memphis is probably not going to use the power of veto. So like, let's just focus on votes this week. So Bayleigh asks David, if you stay, do you have anything else going on, like alliance or deal wise? And David says, this is my final 3. Woo! So he says the only other thing that he's been pulled into was with Nicole and Kevin. And Day says that's okay because we like Kevin. And she says, if nominations stay the same and you stay, then Nicole's not going to be here anyway. So we don't really have to deal with that situation. Ugh. So then David leaves and Day and Bay continue their game chat. They feel like Tyler is not working with anyone. Oh my God, he's working with almost literally everyone. He has a deal with almost everyone. So Day says that she tested him. She told him some made up information and it hasn't come back to her yet. And I will say, Tyler is very good at holding on to information and knowing who he can share it with and who he should keep his mouth shut around. So he's doing a really good job with that. But he's definitely working with a lot of people. So they think that Tyler is close with Enzo, just like on a personal level. And because they're also close with Enzo, maybe that will help them to pull him in. Okay, so they're also trying to figure out what they're going to do because things are getting really messy with Cody. Like really messy. He's got stuff going on with so many people. He's also not trusting them as much as he did in week 1. Guys, this is only week 2 and these alliances they're already crumbling. Can you imagine if we didn't have the feeds for the first week and we just see these alliances crumble right from the start? Wild. But anyway, Day says no matter what, she wants to make sure that her and Bayleigh are not going to end up on opposite sides. She would hate that. So she tells Bayleigh, if you start feeling at any point like it's better for us to side with Janelle and Kaysar, let me know because we can do that. You just got to let me know. So Bayleigh says, that side looks pretty good. She says Memphis is the problem in this situation because he will not agree to an alliance this early, and Janelle and Kaysar wanted to include Memphis in the group that give them more numbers, but they feel like Memphis just wants to work with Cody so bad, and Bayleigh and Day, you don't even know. So they said, no, Bayleigh said if it were Memphis, Janelle, Kaysar, Christmas, the two of us, that's 6 people. That would be solid. We'd also have David working with us, so that would be really great. But Memphis just doesn't want to play ball with us right now. So those dreams are kind of dead at this point. I mean, they're still going to try and do the alliance without him. Maybe. I don't know. Day and Bayleigh are trying to hold off until they see what happens with the Power Veto ceremony. So then Day and Cody have a quick chat in the bathroom area. And this was pretty hilarious. Cody says that people are spreading rumors about him and saying that he's working with everyone in the house. Everyone he talks to, he makes a final 2 deal with. He's like, they're saying that I have a deal with David, Enzo, Tyler, Nicole F. So 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 that you just listed and also more. But he says, maybe I just know how to talk to people. He says it's not always game talks when he's talking to people. So Cody is obviously getting feedback here, and he's trying to make it right with Day, and no. So Cody says that he and Day are solid because they just connect. Not solid. And Day is like, okay, well, I just don't want to see our group fall apart. And Cody says, we won't. We'll see about that. Okay, so then Memphis and Cody have a little check-in in the storage room. And Memphis is just so pissed that Dani is trying to tell him to do something that she wouldn't do herself. So he's referring to Dani trying to get him to backdoor Janelle this week, or take out Janelle this week. Technically, it wouldn't be a backdoor because for it to be a true backdoor, you have to plan on targeting somebody at the beginning of the week, and then they don't play in the Power Veto competition. They have no chance of defending themselves. And then you put them up on the block. That's a true backdoor. But basically, they're saying they want Memphis to put her up as the replacement nominee, if you're going to get all technical with it, right? So anyway, yeah, I kind of agree. I don't see Dani straight up going after Janelle. I think she would be much craftier about it and try and make somebody else like Memphis do it. So I think Memphis also doesn't take like orders specifically from women. Yikes. So anyway, Cody says, well, I would easily backdoor Kaysar if I was HOH. You were HOH last week. Okay. So he says, I know that the group wants Janelle. So then Memphis is saying, well, my communication with Janelle and Kaysar is open. And yes, I am looking out for the 6, of course. I want to keep us all safe. But me and you are my priority. So Memphis is basically like trying to recreate his Renegades glory days. But now Dan is Cody. But like Cody is Cody. He's not Dan. So they're missing like the great strategist in this duo, you know? So anyway, Memphis tells Cody, just keep up your communication with Janelle just in case she wins HOH and you'll be fine with her. I'm sure Cody's other allies are going to love to see him buddying up with Janelle. All right, so then Janelle and Nicole had a chat on the Sky Bridge, and Nicole's asking, have you heard anything? Good, bad, ugly, anything at all? And Janelle says, no, not really. She said, from what she understands, David is the target. Okay, here's the thing. So I would say at this point, David has the votes to stay. But when you're talking about like who the target is, I guess generally that means like what the HOH wants, like who they're targeting. And Memphis has been kind of wishy-washy about it. Like at first, it seemed like Nicole was definitely the target this week because she was close to Janelle and Kaysar. But then again, that might have just been Memphis's allies saying that. But Memphis, it seems like he feels way more threatened by David. So he's kind of been, I know he's been saying to Janelle and Kaysar, like, oh yeah, I'd be cool with David going. But I'm not sure if he's just saying that to them because he knows that's what they want, or if he actually thinks that. Because I don't know. I've seen him say to other people too that like David is more unpredictable. They don't really know how he would play. So it kind of seems like he would prefer to see David go. I don't know. But Janelle, I think, is also kind of out of the loop with the votes somewhat. I mean, she knows it's going to be tough to get the votes for Nicole, or for Nicole. So then Nicole says she's confused because she thought that she was solid with Janelle and Kaysar. And Janelle's like, we are. Like, what are you talking about? So then Nicole says, I thought that Memphis would be on board with all of us working together. And Janelle's like, yeah, but Memphis said he doesn't want to make an alliance this early. He wants to wait until like the second half of the game to really establish things. That's just such crap. Oh my God. Do people really believe that from Memphis? It's ridiculous. So Janelle says like she's going to try and talk to Memphis again, but she doesn't want to push too hard because he might like freak out and decide to put her up on the block. So she's got to be careful. But she says Kaysar is working on getting you the votes to stay this week. So, talk to him and he'll let you know what you need to do. So then Nicole's like, all right, well, I'm just worried about the future of this game. She's saying that she would be a vote with them in the future. And I was like, I know, like, we're trying to help you. You leaving would be disastrous for our game. So like, we want you to stay. So Nicole does not seem convinced, which is just sad. But Nicole was telling Kevin all about the conversation with Janelle. Grima worm tongue. So Nicole says about Janelle, if you were really my ally, you'd be trying to get me off the block. Huh? She is trying to get you off the block. But I guess Nicole is now like, when did the conversation change from potentially getting me off the block with the veto to now just like working on getting me the votes? So I think that's throwing her off. But like, also, it just seems like anything Janelle says, Nicole's just like, really? So I don't know. It's almost coming off like a little bit bratty because you see Janelle and Kaysar doing all this work for her. And then she just seems like really ungrateful. I don't know. Obviously, she doesn't know what's really going on with Janelle and Kaysar trying to keep her, but it just seems weird. It doesn't feel like last season Nicole. I don't know. Something is different. So Then she was like to Kevin, oh, Janelle told me that Kaysar is doing the honor, and yes, she did the hand on the heart, the honor of getting people to vote for me to stay. So apparently they don't think the veto is going to be used. You really think that Memphis is going to freaking veto his own nominations like that? So she says that she talked to Kaysar as well, and Kaysar told her to work on Kevin, Dani, Enzo, and Nicole F, and he said that he would take care of the rest. So Nicole says she wants to fact check and see how Janelle and Kaysar are telling Bayleigh to vote. So Kevin says, oh, I'll check with Day and ask her what Bayleigh is saying. So Nicole says, if Bayleigh's being told to vote me out, I'm blowing shit up after the power veto ceremony. Oh boy. Okay, so Nicole says that Kevin is the only person in this house that she trusts. Oof. And she says if she stays and wins HOH, she's putting up Janelle and Kaysar. And if that POV is used, she'll put up Memphis. Well, yeah, Memphis put you on the block. But Janelle and Kaysar are the only ones trying to keep you. Oh my God. So then she says how Janelle and Kaysar think that they're God's gift to this game, and it's so disappointing. They are, though. So you're being disappointing, and that hurts me to say because I just loved her so much last season, but this Nicole is different. So anyway, Nicole pulls Dani aside. Oh, this is where it just gets really messed up. Nicole pulls Dani aside to chat in the bathroom area. Dani's all like, what's the freaking deal with Janelle? She's saying that she's going to try to save you, right? And she tells Nicole, don't repeat this. My one worry is that people are linking you with Janelle, and Janelle's not in a good spot right now. So that sucks for you. And Nicole says, well, I'm not with her. You know, the care is not there. And she says, like, it's embarrassing that Janelle won't hang out with her anymore. Like last week, she was doing her makeup and stuff, and they were like having a good time. And now she doesn't want to hang out with me. She's too busy trying to save you. Oh my God. So then Dani's like, don't repeat this or I'll kill you. Wow. She says the only way you may be able to stay is to sell someone out. So Nicole, I could just, and like the way that Dani was sitting there, like with her sunglasses on inside, it just felt like, oh my God, she looked like pure evil trying to like tempt Nicole. Like it was so weird. So Nicole was like, a random person or a specific person? And Dani says, specific. They're talking about Janelle. So Nicole says, yeah, I've already been thinking about that. Yikes. Okay, so Dani says, sometimes that's what you gotta do. And America loves that crap anyway. I can tell you, America will not love that crap because Janelle and Kaysar are the only ones trying to get Nicole. Nicole votes right now. And if she tries to call him out, it's not going to go well. It is not going to go well. They will not love that crap. They'll be straight up shit. Okay, so anyway, Kevin and Day chat in the storage room. I need like a minute after that. Woo. So Kevin and Day chat in the storage room, and Day says, okay, wait. Let me backtrack a little bit. This conversation started before the cameras changed to them, like maybe a sentence before, and it seems like Kevin was asking, how is Bayleigh planning on voting? Because Day responded, if the noms stay the same, she's going to vote Nicole out. She meaning Bayleigh, not she meaning Davon. So Kevin's like, oh, really? Because Nicole thinks that there might be some sort of like misting happening with Janelle and Kaysar. And Day is like, I don't know, because Kaysar approached me about wanting to start an alliance that included Nicole. So it seems legit. She's like, I don't know if it's true or not. First of all, why are you sharing this with Kevin, who has like the biggest mouth ever? Why? Also, why Do you believe nothing that Janelle and Kaysar say? Oh my God, what is it going to take to get these people to believe Janelle and Kaysar on anything at all? So Day is then going through Nicole's votes to stay at this point. So she's like, okay, I think she said like the two of them, which no. But also she's like, okay, Janelle and Kaysar. And Kevin seems shocked. He's like, what? Janelle and Kaysar are going to vote for her to stay? You think so? And Day is like, yeah, I'm pretty sure Nicole is working with them. Yeah. So what is Kevin going to do with this information? Is he going to twist it around and like deny it and be like, they're just saying that, like it's not real? Or is he actually going to tell Nicole, hey, maybe you should stop talking shit about them because they're actually trying to help you? We'll see. So, I mean, Kevin's track record this season has not been great. I love him in real life. He seems like a great person, but in this game, so frustrating to watch. So unbelievably frustrating. So anyway, woo! Cody and Enzo chat in the photo bedroom. And Cody's like, I'm not going to be pushy with Memphis because I know that he doesn't like that. That's what Dani's doing with him, but I'm not going to do it because Memphis has this whole like alpha male thing going on, and I need to work him in a way that works, basically. So then Enzo's asking if they can trust Tyler, even though he seems to be like all over the place and like talking to everybody. And Cody's like, oh, that's just because Tyler's incredible. He's like a Dan or Derek type. And he was talking about how Tyler should have won his season. Like, yeah, probably. He's like, no offense to the girl who won, Casey, but like, Tyler should have won. So yeah, he was talking about that, but he seems to trust Tyler. They also talk about this week's vote. And they are like on board with David staying, but then they were also like, you know what? It could be good for us to maybe keep Nicole to be a unimole for us. You know, she could go out, collect information, and bring it back to us. But only the two of us, not for anybody else. No. So, Cody is pissed at this point that Day and Bay are not bringing them information after spending time with Janelle and Kaysar. So he's just really ticked off about that. Anyway, Cody and Dani were then talking in the lounge a few minutes later, and it was an info dump. So Cody spilled about his conversation earlier with Memphis and how he was annoyed that Dani was pushing him to do something that she wouldn't do herself. And Dani was like, Memphis, I hate to say it, but Memphis does not want to hear what women have to say. And honestly, like, I have to agree with her. He's always shutting the women down and cutting them off, not letting them talk. So, like, she's got a point there. So then Dani shared some interesting information here. Okay. Number one, there were a lot of, like, weird, like, alliance things happening yesterday. So Dani shared that Nicole F. told her that Day approached her and was asking, like, are you in an alliance with Dani and Cody? And of course, Nicole F. was like, no, she denied it. And in response, Day suggested that they make that alliance a reality with her in it also, and maybe add on Ian. So it would be Ian, Day, Dani, Cody, and Nicole F. Okay, so... And by the way, that conversation did happen. Day approached Nicole F., asked if they were together, then was like, well, if it's not a thing, I want in. So Nicole was like, okay, I got to talk to some people. So she told Dani, of course. Okay, so then Cody and Dani were like, you know what? We're already in like a million alliances. None of them have names, and they all only have like a one person, like one different person in each of them. So Cody is like, you know what? It's going to come to a point where we just have so many alliances that we're going to have to start throwing competitions, because if we win, we're going to have to nominate our own allies, and that's not a good look. So he's like, I don't really like want to do this. But at the same time, they're like, can't just say no. Like, that's really rude and like messed up, and like people are not going to respond well to that. Memphis. But anyway, yeah, they're like not super keen on that alliance, but maybe they'll like agree to it, but not really. So anyway, there was also some drama with this like proposed alliance. It was with Day, Tyler, and Dani. So this is what happened. Day went to Dani and said that Tyler approached her the other day about starting an alliance. And I'm pretty sure that Day made this up because she was trying to see like who's close to who, where is this information going to go. So this was not like Tyler did not actually do that. So Dani says that she went to Tyler and asked him about it, just like in a joking way. And he like freaked out and got super defensive. And he said that someone was trying to sabotage him, which is like true. Like this was not real information. But Dani says to Cody that she believes Davon. So she says Tyler was blatantly lying. He wasn't. So Tyler was telling Dani that Day approached him like it wasn't like that. And Dani is just not believing it. So later, this will come back later. But anyway, Janelle and Day were chatting in the lounge. And I'm getting so parched. Day says that Kaysar already approached her and talked to her about the whole Janelle and Kaysar, Bayleigh, Davon Christmas alliance. And Janelle's like, oh yeah, well, Memphis already turned us down. Like he said he doesn't want to be in an alliance yet, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So Day is like, well, I feel really good about the people on the list, but I don't think Nicole is going to stay this week. So Day says, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not trying to play the race card right now, but I cannot vote David out. I can't do it. And Janelle says, yeah, Bayleigh told me the same thing. Like, if that's how you're feeling, then that is what it is. But Janelle was like really counting on Bayleigh and Day's votes to keep Nicole. It's not looking good for her right now. Yeah. So anyway, Janelle tells her how Dani approached her the other day and asked for Janelle and Kaysar to be in alliance with Cody, Tyler, and Nicole F. And Janelle's like, yeah, I didn't want to be in it because I didn't want to leave you and Bayleigh out to dry. Which is not really why she did not, like, just why she said no. It was because she didn't trust, like, almost all the people in that alliance. But, yeah, she's working it. So, Day then asks Janelle, she's like, I've heard some rumors that you might be working with Cody. Like, what's up with that? And Janelle's like, no way. Which is true. She's not. So by the end of this conversation, they're just kind of working through things. And by the end of the conversation, Day says she's down to align. Let's make this happen. But we should talk more about it after the power veto ceremony. Like, let's not dive into this right now before Memphis has made his decision. We don't need to rock the boat just yet. So then Dani was talking to Cody and Nicole F in the photo bedroom, and she's had a revelation. She's like, you guys, I figured it out. She says Day was the one lying in the Tyler situation. She says that, okay, so remember the whole, like, Nicole F told me that Day approached her about making an alliance, blah, blah, blah. That one. So it's the other alliance that she's talking about right now, not the Tyler thing. She says that now Day came up to her and told her that Nicole F was the one that approached Davon about forming the alliance. And Dani knows that this is not true because Nicole F already came up to her and they're like best friends. So obviously she's going to believe Nicole F over Day. So now that she caught Day in this lie, she's like, wow, Day must also be lying about the Tyler thing, which she was. So, all right. So then Christmas and Tyler have a check-in on the hammock. And Christmas is telling him about the alliance that Kaysar proposed, the one with Janelle, Kaysar, Bayleigh, Day, Nicole, Christmas. So Christmas doesn't know how to feel about this because obviously she's loyal to her alliance, the Memphis alliance, even though she can't stand Memphis. Oh, it's raining. But at the same time, like, she's not going to say no to it, like, flat out. And, like, it could be good to get information and stuff. So she says she's going to get closer to Kaysar and try to milk this whole thing for a while, not fully commit to it. But she's going to try and, like, hang on to this for as long as she can. She's not going to vote with them, though. She's not going to go that far. So then Tyler was telling Christmas how Memphis was pissed when she saved Ian with the safety suite +1. And she's like, I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know he was pissed at me. I didn't know that he was targeting Ian. Like, maybe he should have told me what his plan was, right? But I'm glad that he didn't, because I'm glad that Ian's safe. So anyway, they agree that Memphis sucks and he should be the first one to go from their group, because he doesn't seem to care that some of them are in danger now that Janelle and Kaysar are figuring out their alliance. So they're like, Memphis is playing the middle and it's not cool. So then Tyler was also sharing that he's getting really sketched out by Dani now. There was the whole Day alliance thing. He didn't like that. He's caught Dani in multiple lies now, and he feels like Dani and Day are both scheming. Yeah. So let's change gears a little bit. Last night, Nicole was really struggling emotionally. She was sobbing. It seemed like she was having a panic attack. Like, she couldn't even get words out for a while. It was really heartbreaking to watch. So Day was comforting her and telling her it's just a game. Like, after this is all over, you're going to go home to your amazing life. It's going to be okay. But Nicole's saying, like, I shouldn't have come back. I don't think I can do it. I'm not strong enough. And this makes me so sad. And I have to agree with something that I've been seeing Jolene Lunzer and honestly Honecker saying. Love them. But they've been saying that they think it's too soon for Nicole to be coming back. And I have to agree. Like, I feel like she's still dealing with past trauma from last season, and she hasn't had time to work through it. She's been working like crazy on her podcast this whole year, so she hasn't had time to really process what she went through. So she's having a really hard time in there, and it's so sad to see. Like, all this stuff, put all the stuff aside, like, you don't like her gameplay. It's hard to see her break down like that. So I really felt for her, especially because it's like anxiety induced as well. Like, I totally get it. Anxiety sucks. So it was sad to see. But while I'm mentioning Jolene and Miranda, I also want to give shout outs to Nerdtainment, Carter Matt, TV Talks with Tom. Like, they're all awesome. They all do great Big Brother coverage. So if you want more, you should check them out, because they're a lot of fun and we all bring something different to the table. Okay, so back to Nicole and Day. Day is encouraging her, talking about how strong she is, and Nicole is talking like she wants to quit. She's saying, David seems so strong, and like, I would hate to have him go and me stay when I feel like I can't do this. So Day is advising her to sleep on it. Don't worry, guys. She's much better today. So I'm glad that she's doing better. But, like, she could stop throwing Janelle under the bus. That'd be cool. No, but really, I'm glad to see that she's doing better. So then later, Janelle and Kaysar are strategizing. They're still trying to find a way to save Nicole and build up their alliance. So they're wondering, could we maybe, like, pull in Ian? I don't know. So, I mean, maybe it could be like Ian, Day, Bay, Christmas, Nicole, if she's still there. They're not really sure if it's going to work, though, because they know, obviously, Ian is very close to Nicole F, and they want her out. So it's not really, like, vibing. You know what I mean? But they have also talked about how they want Cody, they're going to target Cody before Nicole F. He's moved up on their target list. They feel like he's way more dangerous than Nicole F. Interesting. Okay. So Janelle pulls Ian aside to chat on the Sky Bridge. And my mouth is so dry. And Janelle says to Ian, Nicole F told me that you're her number one in this game. How do you feel about her? And Ian says, I like her. So Janelle's asking, okay, but where do you separate, like, personal and game? Like, do you just like her as a person or what? So Ian compares his relationship with Nicole F to Janelle's relationship with Kaysar. This is like the SATs. check, please. That's going to be a no from me, dog. It's not going to happen. So then Ian, you could just see on the inside, Janelle was like, so Ian is saying, like, he's going to work with anyone. He's keeping things open. He's not saying no to anyone. So Janelle is like, okay, well, where do you and I fit together in this whole thing? So Ian asks her, are you working with Nicole F? No. So Ian's like, oh, okay, well, maybe we can work together later in the game. It's not really panning out right now. So then he says something a little weird. He's like, I think it would be an error or a mistake to target me or Nicole F right now. And Janelle's like, I'm not. Okay, so then Janelle reports back to Kaysar, and they agree. Yeah, after that conversation, it's not going to work with Ian right now because Nicole F, while she's not their number one target anymore, she's like number 2, maybe number 3. So, not going to work with Ian. Meanwhile, David was talking to you, Nicole, and he's trying to comfort her, see what's going on. And you, Nicole's saying, I know you got shortchanged last season. Maybe it would be best for me to go and for you to stay and play. She's saying, I don't want to leave, but I see how strong you are. I see that I'm like having a really tough time. I'm breaking down here. And she would hate to see him go again and her stay and feel like she can't handle it. So David's like, all right, I don't want to BS you. I feel like I'm staying. He feels like he has the votes, which at this point he does. So he lets her know. Okay. So then the rest of the night was kind of weird because here Nicole is knowing that she doesn't have the votes at this point probably. And Janelle and Kaysar are still trying to help her out, still trying to make it happen. And they're like asking her how to help. And she's like, people are telling me now that I don't have the votes. And they're asking her, who told you this? And she's not giving up a name. And they're like, oh my God, we're just trying to help you. So it's not a good situation. But anyway, today they had the power veto ceremony. Memphis did not use the power veto, shocking no one. So now David or Nicole will be leaving on Thursday. So at this point, David has the numbers to stay. However, it's a little bit weird because, again, I mentioned way at the beginning of this, it seems like Memphis would actually rather have Nicole stay. He's not really campaigning at this point, but he has said to a few people, like, David is more unpredictable. Janelle and Kaysar keep telling him that Nicole would be a number for them. So it seems like he would rather her stay. But then again, okay, like, what I'm trying to say is usually this early in the game, what the HOH wants will have some weight to it. But this is Memphis. So, and his alliance is very pissed at him right now. So they're probably not going to put a huge amount of stock in what he wants, But I just saw before we started filming this or started streaming this today, Nicole must be feeling better because she was campaigning to Nicole F. She just starts throwing Janelle under the bus. Janelle is still trying to help Nicole stay. And Nicole is telling Nicole F, yeah, Janelle was trying to get you backdoored this week. So it's going to be an interesting few days. I'm wondering if Nicole will try and will try and have that house meeting. Hi! To call out Janelle. I could see this getting potentially pretty ugly. I mean, I hope it doesn't get ugly, but I could see it getting weird. So, hi! We've got how many days? 3 days left until the eviction? We'll see what happens. But anyway, I'm just so distracted by Bowie. I want to thank you all so much for watching. And I also want to thank all of our super chatters today.
I have a quick question at the bottom, too.
Okay. So our super chatters, I want to thank, is it Czar or ZAR? Czar? Yes. Thank you so much. Kathleen Marie, thank you. New York, NYC Demon Diva. I love that name. Thank you. Logan Murphy Ward, thank you so much. Brant Phillips, thank you again. Brant. He said, thank you. Rachel McClung, thank you. Brianna Trosclair, thank you. Jessica No, thank you so much. Jim Miller, thank you so much. Julie Smith and Nene, thank you. I just saw Julie Smith and Nene again. Thank you. I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything. Steel for real, thank you. Sheena, thank you. And Sheena has a question. Let me come back to the question. I just want to make sure I don't miss. M. Murray COJ. Thank you. Okay, so Sheena asked, who would you align with and why? That's a great question. I mean, the super fan in me would want to align with Janelle and Kaysar. I'd have to, right? I'd have to. They might play me, but I just love them so much. And it just brings me back to like being in middle school and watching them and just like adoring them and rooting for them so hard. Actually, it might have been like early high school. I don't even remember now, but good times. So yeah, I'd want to align with them. But thank you guys so much for hanging out today. It's a good time as always. And it's going to be an interesting week. So let me know what you guys all think in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow. So until then, much love.
Who was the